This is Fox 5 Local News at 10.
New at 10. Heavy rains and downpours prompt tornado warnings for parts of our viewing area. And a look ahead as more storms may be coming our way.
Then, caught on camera, D.C. police chased a group of ATV riders through the city. Is it a violation of the department's no-chase policy?
Plus, Major League Baseball hands down suspensions to Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland less than 24 hours after the brawl on the mound. Both players also fined. But does the punishment fit the crime? The news at 10 starts right now.
And straight off the top tonight at 10, breaking news out of Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, police were called to Orlando International Airport for reports of an armed man on the grounds or possibly even inside the airport. Officers, we understand, have now found that man and have since contained him. The Florida Highway Patrol shut down all the roads leading to the airport.
Also, a portion of the airport was temporarily locked down. People inside were moved to safety. We're still getting more information at this hour. We will continue to bring you updates on this story as soon as we learn more. Well, the cleanup from the damaging storm is now underway in parts of Virginia. Let's get more on tonight's weather, which has been quite active, with Sue Palka.
Hi there, Tony and Sean. And actually, I'm going to start with what's going on right now, and then we'll talk about the tornado-warned storm that you're referring to that happened around the Berryville and Winchester area earlier today. But straight to radar we go, because I've got to tell you that we do still have a line of downpours and some stronger thunderstorms that have been moving from west to east across 66 and into the district. I'm going to put this in motion here, and you'll be able to see there's still a good amount of lightning, especially coming toward the Warrenton area and into northern portions of Prince William County. These are all firing up on what we call the outflow boundaries, or the mini cold fronts that were put out by previous storms that moved through earlier this afternoon and evening. Speaking of those earlier storms, watch these two cells. It was really just two areas, one that started around the Winchester area and then one that crossed near the Dale City area, that produced quite a bit of damage, including many reports of hail and large trees down at about 5:50 or so. We also got a tornado warning for the Clark County area, and there was some damage out there along Route 7, including reports of trees down, hail, and some damage, which you'll be hearing about later. We're always concerned when we see hail that is the size of $half. That's an indication that there's rotation in a storm, and this was right along the area that was warned for a tornado earlier today. But then another very strong storm that was really down toward the Stafford area and into King George produced also lots of reports of hail. And we got a gust of 59 miles an hour in the city of Weymouth, and that's right there near 95. So a quick look at what's ahead for tomorrow. We're going to start with more clouds and fog, but unfortunately, because we have another frontal boundary that's going to be moving in this direction, and we expect a sunnier day, we think there may be another round of potentially gusty and strong afternoon and evening thunderstorms to keep track of. We'll have much more on that a little bit later. Tony and Sean will also have your headlines for what's ahead after tomorrow just a bit later. Back to you.
Thank you, Sue.
Now, as we were saying, the cleanup from that damaging storm is now underway in parts of Virginia.
In fact, a mobile home park in Winchester got it bad. The storm knocked down trees, power lines, and caused plenty of damage. Fox 5's Marina Morocco has the latest.
It's going to be a long night for folks here at the Blue Ridge Mobile Home Park. You'll see behind me here as residents start to make their way back up and cleanup crews show up here after the severe storm tore through this neighborhood. Now, tree services were called in to help to clear the way back to this park where some of the homes were damaged most, and thankfully no serious injuries reported, but there are some neighbors here who tell us they may need to find a place to stay tonight after the roofs caved in from tree limbs that fell over their homes. Frederick County Sheriff's Office here in Virginia has not allowed us any farther into the neighborhood, mainly because of downed power lines, and it could be well into tomorrow before the streets in the park are cleared for traffic.
I was watching TV, then all of a sudden there was no power. And then I heard I seen the rain coming and branches hitting up against the window, rocks, everything. It was terrible. At first it was a light hail, and all of a sudden it started going really like a train. It was woo, and branches were going every direction. There was debris flying all around, trash cans flipping over. It was bad.
I'm thankful that ours was okay, but I just feel bad and empathize for the people that it happened to. Hopefully they'll be able to trim up the trees a little bit so this won't happen again.
We've had a lot of floods down here, but never nothing like this come through.
And tonight, the National Weather Service says they are still gathering evidence to try and determine if, in fact, a tornado touched down in the area. In Winchester, Virginia, Marina Morocco, Fox 5 Local News.
All right, take a look at this video sent to us by a Fox 5 viewer. You can see D.C. police going after an illegal ATV rider, even though police say there is a no-chase policy in the district.
Now, the woman who recorded D.C. police chasing those ATVs was outraged. She told us she thought the police response was dangerous to folks who are living in D.C. Lindsay Watts is live at police headquarters tonight with new details about what happened. Lindsay?
Sean and Tony, there is more to the story than what you saw in that video. And tonight, D.C. police are letting us know what led up to that pursuit.
I saw a whole lot of lights and just craziness.
This is what Carlita Chambers witnessed Monday near East Capitol Street and Benning Road Southeast.
And I'm like, hold up. I thought they wasn't even supposed to chase in the city. If you're not able to grab a hold of them or just, it's no reason to dash through intersections.
When it comes to illegal ATV and dirt bike riders, D.C. police have a well-publicized no-chase policy. We reached out to police and found out illegal riding wasn't the only crime involved here. One of the riders allegedly threw bricks at police, striking the windshield of an MPD squad car, narrowly missing an officer. The rider was eventually arrested inside an apartment.
It was dangerous on both parts.
People we spoke to still had some concerns.
Police don't deserve to have bricks thrown at them, but I feel like they could have handled the situation differently, but I'm glad they called them.
It makes you okay, so I understand why you want to go and chase after them or pursue after them, because you don't know what they're going to do to people. You never know if somebody might cut them off in traffic and they get upset and they start getting aggressive with that person. So at the end of the day, like, the police are trying to come out and protect and serve and do what I guess they were trained to do. But then when you're watching on video, you're like, why is he on the sidewalk?
We asked MPD whether there are exceptions to their no-chase policy. We are still waiting for an answer to that question. More now on the suspect who was arrested. His name is Dante Marquis. Charges against him include 2 counts of assault on a police officer, unauthorized use of a vehicle, operation of an ATV, and fleeing from law enforcement. Live in Northwest, Lindsay Watts, Fox 5 Local News.
Meanwhile, in Maryland, the Baltimore City Police Department is stepping up their effort to keep this kind of dangerous dirt bike activity off of the streets. The department has implemented a special task force to crack down on illegal dirt bike riders. The task force is also relying on the public to report illegal activity. Last year, the Dirt Bike Task Force seized around 150 of those bikes and 8 handguns.
All right, let's get to the latest now on the investigation into Russia's meddling in the 2016 presidential election. Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn agreed to provide some documents to the Senate Intelligence Committee that is investigating. A person close to Flynn told the Associated Press Flynn will turn over documents related to 2 of his businesses and some personal documents that the committee requested. You may recall, of course, Michael Flynn declined a subpoena to testify before the Intel Committee and pled the 5th.
We're learning more about a successful test of America's missile defense program. The Pentagon says it shot down a mock warhead over the Pacific. It was the first time the Defense Department has ever targeted an intercontinental range missile similar to one that North Korea is developing. The interceptor rocket was launched from a military base in California. And we have an update now on an MS-13 murder case out of Gaithersburg. We've been following this story since last summer. Vanessa Alvarado was sentenced to 40 years in prison after she pleaded guilty to murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Prosecutors say she lured 18-year-old Christian Villagran Morales to a park for sex last June, then watched as 4 fellow gang members stabbed him 153 times. The group allegedly killed the teen because he had innocently flashed a rival gang's sign. We're learning more about an injured, unidentified toddler who was left at a Silver Spring hospital last Saturday. A woman says her sister asked her to babysit the child. By Sunday, when she couldn't reach her sister, she decided to bring the little girl to Holy Cross Hospital. The woman told medical personnel she didn't know the child's name or who her parents were. Police say the child is still being treated at the hospital. Investigators have now located the girl's relatives and are trying to learn who her official guardian is.
Well, tonight, the NAACP is demanding changes after the murder of a Bowie State student. Tisha Lewis has the details. Tisha?
Sean, that's right. The NAACP and student activists hoping to get the administration's attention here at the University of Maryland College Park. All of this happening on the heels of a potential hate crime that claimed the life of 2nd Army Lieutenant Richard Collins. We'll have more.
And justice... there has been perhaps some justice in Cleveland 3 years after the police shot and killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice. We've got details after the break. Also, swift reaction from Major League Baseball following this fistfight on the field. Bryce Harper is suspended. We'll tell you how many games the national star player will have to miss.
How well do you sleep? Problems getting Z's could predict bigger brain problems down the road. And are you ready for some football? Former Redskins player Santana Moss is having his very own youth football camp. Find out where you can sign up. And then a surprise you don't want to miss. We can't say much, but you'll need to tune in tomorrow on Fox 5 News More.
Some things are simply impossible to ignore. The strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid.
Lease the 2017 NX Turbo all-wheel drive for $329 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
At Next Day Blinds, whether you shop in store or in-home, custom couldn't be more convenient, more exact, more beautiful, or more you. Next Day Blinds.
Tom went to Washington to take on the insurance companies and the credit card companies and the Wall Street banks. That's what Tom Perriello's about.
I was proud to stand with President Obama because progressive causes have been my life's work. I'm Tom Perriello, and I'm running for governor to reduce economic inequality, raise wages, eliminate the burden of student debt, and protect our climate. Together, we really can build a Virginia that works for everyone.
Your Ford dealer's Memorial Day event is on. Hurry to get 0% financing for 72 months and $2,000 cash back. Plus, active military, veterans, and first responders get appreciation cash. That's huge savings on the #1 Ford F-Series, the #1 Ford Explorer, and top safety pick Fusion. That's how you become America's best-selling brand. Now through May 31st, get 0% financing for 72 months and $2,000 cash back. Plus, active military, veterans, first responders, and their families get $1,000 more in appreciation cash.
Introducing Fios Gigabit Connection. Super fast internet at an incredible price. With speeds up to 940 megs. That's 20 times faster than most people have. And it's just $79.99 a month online for 1 year. And only $5 more per month for the second year. Get Fios Gigabit Connection for $79.99. With TV, HBO for 1 year, and multi-room DVR service for 2 years. All with a 2-year agreement. Switch now at fiosgigabit.com.
Out of coolant? We've got you covered. The highly trained technicians at Jiffy Lube do more than just oil changes. We also exchange transmission fluid, rotate tires, and more, all in a jiffy.
Experience the Lexus RX with advanced safety. Standard.
Lease the 2017 RX 350 all-wheel drive for $429 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Fox 5 on Facebook. Like us at Fox 5 DC. Get engaged.
The NAACP and student activists are demanding the University of Maryland include them on a task force the school is forming in response to the murder of Army 2nd Lieutenant Richard Collins III.
That's right. Police and the FBI are now investigating Lieutenant Collins' death as a possible hate crime. Fox 5's Tisha Lewis is live in College Park tonight with the story. Tisha.
Well, Sean and Tony, the demand comes on the heels of the university releasing its action plan. We're talking about a plan that includes a collaboration between students, staff, and faculty. They want them to be trained. They want to create this coalition to address hate bias incidents. But some students that we spoke with say, you know what, that's simply not enough.
I would just like them to see them working alongside students. So I'd like to see the university take our concerns more seriously and also work alongside students instead of creating an antagonist kind of relationship that we have had prior to this.
And that is Janet Emanuel, who graduated from UMD the day Collins was stabbed to death at a bus stop near campus. She says recent racial hostility on campus was minimized by the administration. Collins' murder happened after reports this year of racist threats at UMD's College Park campus, including a noose found inside a campus fraternity house and reports of racist flyers. At this news conference, activists listed several demands hoping to get UMD administration's attention.
There was not enough transparency in some of the issues that they had at the college. Set up hate-free zones in our community. All right, learn about these hate groups so that the actual facts can be put out in the community regarding these hate groups that exist, and make sure that we take some action whenever there's an act of hatred. Okay, there's some action be taken.
And the incident happened here at this bus stop on campus. We want to talk a little bit more about the university's action plan. It is one that includes setting up $100,000 in supplemental funds to address potential hate crimes, and also teaming up with the athletics department and also the civil rights division to address it as well. Tisha Lewis, Fox 5 Local News.
The Cleveland police officer who shot and killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice in 2014 was fired today, not because of the shooting. According to the police chief, Officer Timothy Lohman was fired for not being truthful about his employment history when he applied for the job. The department also imposed a 10-day suspension on the officer who was driving the car the day Tamir Rice was shot.
There's a 12-year-old kid dead. So, I mean, you know, people on both sides are going to say it wasn't enough, it was too much. You know, we have to go through our process. We have to be fair and objective to everybody involved in the process.
A grand jury cleared both officers of any criminal wrongdoing in the case. Over in London tonight, the doors of the Manchester train station reopened for the first time since last week's deadly terrorist attack. Manchester Victoria Station resumed service this morning, 1 week after 22 people were killed by a suicide bomber at pop star Ariana Grande's concert. The Greater Manchester mayor laid a wreath at a temporary memorial. Hundreds of people also gathered for a vigil at St. Anne's Square. Investigators are still gathering evidence and making arrests as they try to determine how Salman Abedi managed to carry out the deadly attack. Meantime, we've learned Ariana Grande will return to Manchester on Sunday to host a benefit concert to raise money for the victims of the attack. She will be joined by some other big names, including Coldplay, Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, and Pharrell Williams. The proceeds will go to an emergency fund set up by the City of Manchester and the British Red Cross.
The site of the country's worst nuclear power accident could be shutting down. Today, Exelon Corp, the owner of Pennsylvania's 3 Mile Island nuclear facility, announced the plant will close in 2019 if the state doesn't step in to help. The company wants the state to change its policies and include nuclear power in its alternative energy ambitions. In 1979, equipment failure and operator errors led to a partial core meltdown of a reactor there. The plant's other reactor is still in use. It is the baseball brawl heard and seen around the country. Tonight, Major League Baseball is handing out its punishment to Nationals outfielder Bryce Harper and Giants pitcher Hunter Strickland. Harper has been suspended for 4 games, while Strickland gets 6. Strickland hit Harper with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball in yesterday's game in San Francisco. Harper charged the mound, and the 2 men exchanged some punches before both benches emptied. Strickland was supposedly getting back at Harper for admiring a couple of home runs he hit off the pitcher nearly 3 years ago. Both men are appealing their suspicions. The Stanley Cup Finals are underway, and Pittsburgh and Nashville are competing for Lord Stanley's Cup, while Washington fans get to cry in their beers. When the Caps lost to the Penguins in the second round of the playoffs, rumors started to fly that the team might consider trading star player Alex Ovechkin. But tonight, GM Brian McClellan confirmed Ovechkin is not on the trading block, saying it is not in the organization's best interest to move him.
Up next, access denied to Rachel Dolezal. Remember her? Organizers canceled her upcoming appearance at a Baltimore book festival after getting all sorts of backlash. And washing your hands with cold water. What? Yeah, may not be what you're used to doing, but we're going to hear what the experts say you should be doing when it comes to washing away the germs.
Tomorrow morning on Fox 5, Portia Williams is dishing on the latest celebrity gossip. Plus, do you have what it takes to be a champion speller? We're previewing the big National Spelling Bee, that's B-E-E, live at National Harbor.
That was good, Tony.
Thank you very much. Now look at our prompter, national is spelled wrong. And of course, we're whipping up something delicious. That's tomorrow morning.
You sum up this car in one word.
Swanky.
Sexy. Sexy.
Luxurious.
Classy. Fast. Sporty. Shop. Innovative. Sleek luxury sedan.
Okay, that's more than one word.
This is the 2017 Chevy Malibu.
That's impressive.
Where's the local dealer around here?
Find your tag and get 20% below MSRP on select Malibu vehicles in stock. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
The time is always right to do what is right. Ralph Northam, Army doctor during the Gulf War, volunteer director of a pediatric hospice, progressive Democrat. In the Senate, he passed the smoking ban in restaurants, stopped the transvaginal ultrasound anti-choice law, and stood up to the NRA. As Lieutenant Governor, Dr. Northam is fighting to expand access to affordable health care. Ralph Northam believes in making progress every day, and he won't let Donald Trump stop us.
More people than ever are making the move to Nissan. Save on Rogue, America's best-selling SUV. Only at Nissan's Make the Move event. Get up to $1,500 Memorial Day bonus cash on top of existing offers.
Fox 5 on Facebook. Like us at Fox 5 DC. Get engaged.
Food, family, and fun.
You kind of know what you're doing in this little department here.
The F Word with Gordon Ramsay premieres this Wednesday live on Fox.
A Baltimore book festival has canceled Rachel Dolezal's upcoming appearance after a backlash. She, you may remember, is the white woman who led others to believe she was black. I believe she now says she identifies as black. Organizers of the Baltimore Book Festival say it had to consider how Dolezal's appearance would affect the audience and other authors. Dolezal is the former head of the Spokane, Washington chapter of the NAACP. She cannot be reached for comment.
All right, so for years we've heard, you wash your hands frequently to get rid of all the germs and to stay healthy.
Now, while we often wash our hands with hot water, new research shows cool water can be just as effective. The Rutgers University study followed 24 people over a 6-month period. Researchers had people wash their hands with water at 60, 70, and 100 degrees. The study found bacteria was effectively removed in both cool and hot temperatures.
I wonder if it was the soap.
The soap, I'm certain, helped.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is.
Right, that's right.
All right, well, coming up at 10:30, are officers chasing ATV riders illegally in the district?
Well, the new video that is sparking some debate tonight.
And pushing for racial equality, what the NAACP is demanding tonight following the murder of this college student.
Plus, could saying goodbye to filibusters benefit the president's plans? What getting rid of the practice could mean for the president's agenda. Sue.
Hey, Tony's still tracking some pretty heavy showers and thunderstorms moving through the Gainesville area right now, kind of commuting along 66 eastbound like so many of you will be doing tomorrow morning. These storms will be gone by the time you begin that commute, but clouds and fog may be around again for the morning. We'll have a look at your weather headlines when Fox 5 Local News at 10 comes right back.
This is Fox 5 Local News at 10:30.
Right now at 10:30, video of ATV riders speeding through city streets with police cruisers hot on their tail. But is the chase a break in protocol?
And demanding action, the push to turn tragedy into change following the death of a local college student.
And if you saw sunshine mainly west of D.C. today, chances are you saw a strong, if not severe, storm. Are we going to do that again tomorrow? I'll have your forecast. The 10:30 is next.
Welcome back here at 10:30. I'm Sarah Simmons.
And I'm Tony Perkins. We start with video of what appears to be a D.C. police chase going after an illegal ATV rider, even though there's a no chase policy in the district.
Fox 5's Lindsay Watts is live at police headquarters with new details about what happened. Lindsay.
Sarah and Tony, we reached out to D.C. police right away when we saw that video. We'll give you another look at it now. A woman filmed this yesterday in Southeast, and she reached out to us to find out what is going on. She thought police were not supposed to chase ATVs. Well, police tell us that one of the riders on the run had been throwing bricks at officers. One brick allegedly hit the windshield of a cruiser, narrowly missing an officer. We asked police whether there are exceptions to their no chase policy, but we haven't gotten an answer yet. Officers were able to arrest the suspect they were after inside an apartment.
The NAACP and student activists are demanding the University of Maryland include them on a task force the school is forming in response to the murder of Army Second Lieutenant Richard Collins III.
Fox 5's Tisha Lewis joining us live now from College Park with more on this one. Tisha?
Well, change is coming to the University of Maryland on the heels of Second Lieutenant Richard Collins' fatal stabbing. It's being investigated as a possible hate crime, and the NAACP and also some student activists say they want to be included in the university's solution. They're hoping to get UMD administration's attention. This was the scene today in Upper Marlboro at the county administration building. They had a news conference. They said that they are not included in the university's action plan that includes a task force to help curb hate crimes and keep the campus safe. The NAACP and also these student activists say they want to be included. They also say that they would like to have the dialogue continue about hate crimes here. They say that they reported some of these incidents to administration before Collins' death, and it was ignored. We'll have more.
Sue mentioned those strong to severe storms earlier. Cleanup from those damaging storms is underway in parts of Virginia. One of the hardest hit areas was Blue Ridge Mobile Home Park in Winchester.
Some are telling us they may need to find a place to stay tonight after their roofs caved in from tree limbs that fell on top of their homes. No serious injuries were reported. The National Weather Service is gathering evidence to determine if a tornado touched down in that area.
And we continue now with the weather. It is a rainy evening.
All right, how long is this wet weather going to stick around, Sue Palka? Give us the latest.
I know, Sarah, I'll tell you, and Tony, we're watching these storms. They're kind of relentless at 10 o'clock, not wanting to give up the ghost. Still some lightning showing up, but over the next few hours, they will certainly weaken and diminish, and they'll be gone by the time you start your morning commute. But you know what will be back for the morning commute? More clouds and maybe a little bit of fog. We really struggled to burn that off today, and in the areas where it was sunny, we saw more storm activity, although tonight some of those storms still holding up, even though they are not severe at this hour, that's for sure. Listen, we expect to see more sunshine tomorrow. Wind direction is going to shift a little bit out of the southwest, so that will ditch the clouds. Bottom line, that means we get warm, but with another frontal boundary approaching, it also means that we could trigger some showers and storms again tomorrow afternoon, some of which could feature those gusty winds that are capable of taking down limbs and trees. Good news is we get a break from this rainy path that we've been on Thursday. Thursday still looks like a beautiful day, but beyond that, unfortunately, it's still just a little bit unsettled with nearly daily chances for showers or storms as we get toward the end of the week and the weekend. We'll track the very latest with the ongoing showers and storms that are around the region right now coming up in just a few minutes, and we'll show you hour by hour how Wednesday is going to shape up. Over to you guys.
Some of the more than 200 protesters who demonstrated on Inauguration Day are facing serious prison time, but they are fighting back. Lawyers for nearly 24 protesters are asking a judge to throw out the felony charges against their clients. They face at least 8 felony counts, and if convicted, they face more than 70 years in prison. Defense lawyers, though, say the charges are trumped up. They say when their clients were initially arrested, they were charged with 1 count of rioting, but now some of the protesters are facing additional charges, including destruction of property and conspiracy to riot. To date, 5 defendants have pleaded to misdemeanor rioting and 1 to felony rioting and felony assault on a police officer.
President Trump and many Republicans in Congress are trying to undo some of the policies enacted during the Obama administration. Criminal justice reform is the latest target among GOP members. A new bill before Congress would include mandatory minimum sentences for a number of crimes. Some involve illegal immigrants. Others would target criminals who either attack or kill federal judges or law enforcement officers. The movement towards eliminating mandatory sentencing laws had grown over the past few years, but under the Trump administration, it appears the pendulum may be swinging back.
Meanwhile, we are learning about a staff shakeup at the White House. President Trump's communications director, Michael Dubke, has resigned. He submitted his resignation nearly 2 weeks ago, but offered to stay on until the end of the president's first trip overseas. A final day for Dubke has not yet been determined. He says he's stepping down for personal reasons.
The doors at a Manchester train station are back open for the first time since last week's deadly terrorist attack. Manchester Victoria Station resumed services this morning, 1 week after 22 people were killed by a suicide bomber at an Ariana Grande concert. The Greater Manchester mayor laid a wreath at a temporary memorial. Hundreds of people also gathered for a vigil in St. Anne's Square today. Investigators are still gathering evidence and making arrests as they try to determine how Salman Abedi managed to carry out the deadly plan.
Ariana Grande will be returning to Manchester on Sunday to host a benefit concert to raise money for the victims of last week's attack. She'll be joined by some other big names, too, including the band Coldplay, Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, and Pharrell Williams. Proceeds will go to an emergency fund set up by the City of Manchester and the British Red Cross. Grande's mother released a message about the attack. It says in part, "I stand with you all in the face of evil, and we stand together to never let it rule our lives." Coming up, could getting rid of the Senate filibuster be the game changer President Trump wants?
What eliminating the tactic could mean for the president's agenda.
And demonstrating against DeVos, a high school in Connecticut is taking aim at the education secretary. Their challenge to her tonight, following harsh comments about the school.
You're making more and you are spending more. Personal income jumping in April, and that extra cash had a lot of you shopping. Consumer spending rising by the fastest pace in 4 months, with a big boost in new car purchases. Meantime, if you are selling a house, you might be getting a bigger bank account, because according to a closely watched Case-Shiller report, home prices in the 20 largest markets are up nearly 6% from last year. And by the way, that's the biggest gain in 3 years. And Amazon continues to march to $1,000 a share. Shares of the online retail giant briefly crossing 1,000 for the first time on Tuesday. Didn't close there, but it did close at a new all-time high, just under $997. Big way to get through security? Well, it looks like it is no big deal, because according to a new survey from the Travel Leaders Group, around 5% of travelers are frustrated with wait times getting through airport security. But get this, that is still down from last year. That's business. I'm Neil Cavuto.
This Fox 5 stock market update is brought to you by Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing.
It's funny how the biggest ideas often make our impact smaller. How looking closer at soil has helped us grow our thinking. And by creating digital tools that make resource use more precise, we use less. Like many industries, agriculture uses data to evolve, but you might not see our greatest innovations because they help keep what the earth has given us right where it belongs. We give back by moving forward.
Gridlock in Congress. It has existed for years now.
One tactic that senators use to slow down the passage of legislation, of course, is the filibuster. President Trump has suggested that Congress do away with the procedure. Fox's Mike Emanuel takes a closer look at what that would mean for the Trump agenda.
With Congress on recess, there are signs President Trump is losing patience waiting for major legislative accomplishments. The president tweeted this morning about changing the Senate rules to 51 votes to get health care and tax cuts approved fast and easy.
The frustration that he's had with the pace of some of the legislation, some of the obstructionist tactics that Democrats have employed, whether it's his cabinet nominees or other pieces of legislation, has been well documented.
The problem is the Senate has been looking to repeal and replace Obamacare and do major tax reform through budget reconciliation, which would allow them to be passed with 51 votes. So far, there isn't consensus among Republicans on those major issues. And Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has ruled out changing Senate rules for legislation.
There's not a single senator in the majority who thinks we ought to change the legislative filibuster, not one.
Today, a key House Republican insisted the agenda is not stalled.
Senates have to get off their hind ends and start finding a compromise on health care so they can match us in the House. If that happens, then we're able to use the revenue from Obamacare to move our tax dials down and get actually tax reform. So it's happening, but it's happening relatively slowly.
And Democrats are not inclined to help unless it's on their terms on issues like health care.
I don't think that the Republicans can do this themselves. I don't think they should be doing it by themselves. I think we can work I think we should be working in a bipartisan way on this very obviously very, very, very important issue to everybody.
With Congress slow to put points on the board on major overhauls, there is concern about the impact on Republicans seeking re-election in 2018. Vice President Mike Pence is expected to crisscross the Midwest and South this summer. Sources close to Pence say the idea is supporting Republicans who are helping the president's agenda. As for the agenda, there are limitations to what can be done under reconciliation, which is a frustration for many Republicans right now. If Congress were seeking to do all of health care reform, a complete repeal and replace plan, it would right now require 60 votes in the Senate. And if they try to pass permanent major tax cuts, that would also require 60 votes. So to do the entire major ticket items, they need to scrap the legislative filibuster, which Senate leaders don't sound prepared to do. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
A community in East Hartford, Connecticut is firing back at comments recently made by Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. During a budget hearing last week, DeVos referred to East Hartford High School as, quote, adult daycare. She used the school as an example of why more school choice is needed. So today, parents, students, and teachers responded. They held a protest saying DeVos chose the wrong school district to criticize. They're now challenging her to come to the school in person so that they can have a productive conversation.
The mayor of Portland, Oregon, is urging organizers from an alt-right group to cancel a planned protest for this Sunday. Ted Wheeler says the group's message is not welcome in Portland, especially since it comes just days after a known extremist terrorized a teenage girl wearing a hijab on a train, then allegedly killed 2 people who came to her defense.
My main concern is that they are coming to peddle a message of hatred and of bigotry. I'm appealing to the organizers of the alt-right events to cancel the events that they've scheduled.
Wheeler says while freedom of speech is protected under the Constitution, hate speech is not. Rally organizers say they've received a permit from the feds allowing them to protest.
Ben & Jerry's ice cream, no stranger to political controversy. The company is now taking a stand about same-sex marriage. Same-sex marriage is banned in Australia, and it has been for decades. So Ben & Jerry's is responding. From here on out, when a customer in Australia wants 2 scoops of the same ice cream, that will not be allowed. The company says love comes in all flavors, and it is encouraging its Aussie customers to contact their lawmakers to push for the passage of same-sex marriage laws.
Still ahead, time wasters or time savers?
Just how much time you could be losing simply by using your GPS. We're back after this.
It's not just a car, it's your daily treat. The ES and ES Hybrid.
Lease the 2017 ES350 for $329 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Being a pediatrician has taught me to listen carefully. I'm Ralph Northam, and when survivors of the Virginia Tech shooting asked me to support an assault weapons ban and close the gun show loophole, I took on the fight. I saw what those weapons can do as an Army doctor during the Gulf War. Now, I'm listening carefully to Donald Trump, and I think he's a narcissistic maniac. Whatever you call him, we're not letting him bring his hate into Virginia.
Long live the trucks that honor the past, with a class-exclusive air suspension that can tackle the toughest terrain, and a load-leveling rear suspension to shoulder the weight. One drive and you'll discover why Ram trucks are America's longest-lasting pickups.
Now get $500 Memorial Day bonus cash. During the Memorial Day sales event, get an average $12,549 in total values on the 2017 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab.
Delivering cleaner, reliable energy, creating jobs for our veterans, helping those in need save money on their energy bills. It takes 16,000 Dominion Energy employees doing the job. And now Dominion Energy is investing $15 billion to build and upgrade our electric and natural gas infrastructure, creating jobs now and for the future. Across Virginia, we're building an economy that works for everyone. And Dominion Energy is helping power the companies that power our economy.
Wow, that's a Chevy?
The most awarded lineup in the industry has people at a loss for words. Well, almost.
Wow, are you kidding me?
Wow. This is it.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Experience the wow factor. Take home an award-winning Chevy today.
Current qualified competitive lessees can get this Chevy Cruze for around $169 a month. Or find your tag and get $3,000 total cash allowance on select Cruze vehicles when you finance with GM Financial. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
I need the phone that's where I happen to be.
To be the one that rings.
I need not to be missed phone calls. To not be missed.
I need seamless handoff.
Canyon Software.
From reception to landline to mobile.
I need one number.
Not two. I'm always moving forward.
Because I can't afford to get stuck in the past.
Comcast Business. Built for business.
Some things are simply impossible to ignore. The strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid.
Lease the 2017 NX Turbo all-wheel drive for $329 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
We're learning more about Tiger Woods' arrest on Memorial Day. The golfer was stopped early yesterday in South Florida on suspicion of a DUI. Police say he was asleep at the wheel and the engine was still running. They say Woods had extremely slow and mumbled speech. Woods is blaming the incident on an unexpected reaction to prescription medicine. Tests show that no alcohol was in his system. Police have admitted that now. Woods could get up to a year's probation or even jail time if he's convicted.
Singer and actress Olivia Newton-John is postponing her upcoming tour to battle breast cancer for the second time. The 68-year-old was scheduled for a series of shows in both the U.S. and Canada. She initially postponed the first half of the tour because of back pain, but that turned out to be cancer that metastasized to a bone in her lower back. Newton-John was previously diagnosed with breast cancer back in 1992.
Singer John Legend is helping out the kids. He donated $5,000 to schools in Seattle to pay for their lunches. Legend says he saw their GoFundMe campaign on Twitter and wanted to donate. The fund has already raised more than $40,000.
All right, it's been one heck of a messy day out there,
still going strong, too, in some areas. They're not severe storms, but to see still a lot of lightning at 10:45, 10:50, that's significant. Prince William County getting hit hard, Fairfax County right now, too. I bet we can see some lightning as we check our tower camera, depending on what it's looking at. It's still already so murky, though, right? With a lot of moisture around and the clouds, not seeing lightning as I think we're looking at the Washington Monument, but certainly there is definitely a light show going on to the south and west of D.C. tonight. That is for sure. We chased around some severe storms earlier today between about 5:30 and 7:30, and still tonight what we're finding is more storms are developing on the seeds of the previous storms, or the little mini cold fronts they leave behind, the outflow boundaries we call them. So we're seeing that here across Fairfax County, Prince William County, and the number of strikes in the last 15 minutes just in this boxed area. Pretty significant for this late, about 48 lightning strikes. We've also got more showers that are pushing out of Prince George's County into Anne Arundel County. Everything in motion. General trend is from west to east, although the more severe storms seem to be, or they're not severe, the stronger storms seem to be sinking more to the south. So Mount Vernon, those are really close to you, and another Storm has popped up closer to the La Plata area. As we get in, this is right around the Brentsville area, likely some heavy rain getting dropped out of that. Not seeing any signatures with hail. And then Bowie, it's almost done for you. The showers moving over toward northern portions of Anne Arundel County. Everything in motion, and the severe storm watch was up for Pennsylvania, not for us. But right about 5:50 or so, we got a tornado warning for Frederick County in Virginia and also Clark County. And there is some damage out there, but we're not sure if it's straight line wind damage or if rotation caused that. So that more information will have to be gathered with that, but certainly significant damage, whether it's from straight line winds or tornadoes. Those trees coming down caused a lot of trouble. What is left tonight likely does not have the wind to bring down any more trees, but we'll have to watch tomorrow afternoon again. Today, we only got into the low 70s, mid 60s at BWI because we simply could not ditch that marine layer. Tomorrow could be a different story. We could get more sunshine. We could get it earlier, say by the noon hour, and that could cook up a few more showers and storms in the afternoon. So here's what you expect. Morning clouds and fog, and then with a frontal boundary approaching in the afternoon, finding more sunshine, there could be some instability around, and we'll have to watch that afternoon sun for the possibility of more thunderstorms to develop later in the day. So again, battling clouds and fog in the morning, sunshine and potential thunderstorms as we head on into the afternoon. So here's your day planner. 68 degrees at 8 in the morning, more fog, more dreary conditions. By noon, quite a bit brighter. Winds out of the southwest will help to get rid of the clouds, 77 degrees. And by 5 o'clock, with a temperature of 81, there could be some thunderstorms around. So we'll watch for that possibility closely. Upper 70s to low 80s ought to do it tomorrow. Let me show you your Fox 5 AccuWeather 7-day forecast, because while we have maybe the possibility of more storms tomorrow, we'll watch it closely. A couple of models say that's not going to happen, but we find that a little bit hard to believe. But hey, Thursday, it's your day off from thunderstorms, everybody. Friday, chance of a thunderstorm, 84. Saturday, Sunday, we have to keep them in the forecast as well. At least it's warming up a little bit, but I know you don't like seeing these daily storms on here. And, you know, truth serum, I don't either. It looks like they'll be around Monday at 82. Tuesday, some storms possible at 78. So I don't know if you're happy to see that or not, but hey, Thursday's looking great, Sarah and Tony. Ding, ding.
We live for Thursday, apparently.
We live for Thursday.
It's like the middle of summer, really.
I know.
Yeah.
Storms. Okay.
All right, thanks, Sue.
All right, do you rely on GPS apps to get around the city?
I do, but according to a new study, you might be wasting your time. We'll explain why. New research shows drivers waste the equivalent of 29 hours every year using navigation apps. The time is lost when the devices send drivers either the long way or the wrong way. 27% cite confusing directions as the most annoying aspect of navigation systems, and 31% admit to shouting at it as if it was a real person. You gotta get the anger out somehow. The survey was commissioned by a taxi company, and it can be frustrating. You know, we were talking about it today. You're coming up on your turn, and it tells you before it's too late. You can't get over. Or it makes you go in circles. I've had that happen.
And unfortunately, we're not really learning anymore, because now, you know, there are certain places that I go, I always have to put it in the GPS, because I didn't learn it the last time. I'm just relying on that.
You didn't pay attention to what was around you. Yeah.
It's not good.
Convenience.
All right, a cup of Joe in the morning may actually reduce your risk of the most common form of liver cancer. Now, researchers studied more than 2 million people and found that drinking just 1 cup of coffee a day, Sarah, can reduce your risk by 20%. Drinking 2 cups slashes your risk by 35%. According to this story, chugging up to 5 cups can lead to a 50% reduction in the primary form of liver cancer. We're not recommending you drink 5 cups. You should talk to your doctor before doing something like that. The findings apply to both caffeinated and decaffeinated coffee.
I must have the healthiest liver ever. You don't want to know how much I drink. All right, if you like to cook with extra virgin olive oil, listen up. Your next bottle is going to cost you a little more. Olive oil prices have already jumped by 30% at the supermarket. This comes as the entire Mediterranean region has been in a 4-year drought. Even if the drought ended next year, there would still be a shortage due to the increasing worldwide demand. It takes a newly planted olive tree 7 to 10 years to become productive. Yet another thing we have to pay more for.
So maybe don't,
That and avocados.
don't need the extra virgin, just regular virgin.
Right.
Let's check in with Sean now to see what's coming up at 11. Hey, Sean.
All right, guys, coming up tonight at 11, new security concerns surrounding President Trump. That's right. If you could run that for me, I would really appreciate it. We're going to talk more about why these security concerns have to deal with his cell phone. Also ahead tonight, the D.C. Police Department has a no-chase policy. So why were officers caught on camera chasing ATV riders through the city? That was the wrong video there. We apologize. Tense moments today in Maryland following reports of a break-in, a house fire, and a barricade situation. We'll have the latest on that next at 11.
Take one drive in a Jeep brand vehicle, and you'll discover the legendary capability that's ready for any adventure. See for yourself at the Jeep Memorial Day sales event going on now.
I was dreaming a big